What's up guys, Max here. Over the past couple of days, we got a little bit more of Street Fighter V info coming from the Taipei Game Show. There is also an exhibition which I would like to talk about upcoming in a video between Daigo and GamerBee using Chun-Li and Ryu, but there wasn't a lot in regards to the gameplay, and there's a couple of things we can highlight and kind of take from that in a separate video. But what did happen is a couple other pieces of information and something that is extremely mysterious. But for now, the one big thing that's been reported on EventHubs.com is that Ono was directly asked by the dudes over there about the netcode of the game. And in this situation, Ono was kind of comparing the netcode that is going to be used in Street Fighter V directly to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I know some of you guys have had some issues with Street Fighter Cross Tekken's netcode, especially when the game came out, but as we heard before, and they did kind of talk about this in a previous video that we did talk about, yeah, dude, they are doing something of a modified Street Fighter Cross Tekken netcode where the game is absolutely going to have rollback, and it should function pretty well. He also did say that they are going into vigorous testing to make sure that poor connections can also have a good online experience. This is extremely refreshing to hear because, in all honesty, when it comes to the majority of some Japanese-made fighting games, sometimes you don't hear anything in regards to netcode or anything like this, and if these guys are getting questions like this and they're forced to answer, it makes them realize how much more important things like netplay is for something really big like a Street Fighter V game, so they will actually take it seriously. So they will take Street Fighter Cross Tekken's netcode, make it significantly better for the release of Street Fighter V, take advantage of the next-gen capabilities that the PlayStation 4 is going to have to make the game run as good as possible from even greater distances, and I really, really hope that does happen because, ever since Street Fighter 4, the game has never been really upgraded in terms of netcode. They've even talked about the PC netcode of that game, so I'm just glad that it's a serious thing at Capcom now, so we don't get another Ultimate Marvel 3. The other big thing, and here's the greatest mystery that we can possibly discuss that's going on in Street Fighter V right now, is this single screenshot. The Street Fighter V logo followed up with a dark blue gradient background with a very eerie kind of graveyard setting, a castle on the left and this weird plant thing on the right, and Yoshinori Ono walking off stage. Normally you wouldn't think anything of this, kind of a weird, interesting image, what the heck, why would that be associated with that? Well, what's extremely odd is what's going on below with a copyright logo from SQUARE-ENIX and a date of 2013. Now, this raises a lot of questions, and this isn't being reported on very many sites right now, as only a few people have actually seen it, a couple of threads here and there, a couple of folks on Japanese boards talking about it, but this is very weird. First off, we have the Street Fighter V logo, and below it is a copyright from SQUARE-ENIX. And alongside that, we also have the question of there's stuff in the background that is kind of related to what I would initially make the impression of Darkstalkers. I'm not saying it's Darkstalkers by any means, but at this point, if I look at this visually, just right here, that's what I see. Square Enix has also not done many fighting games in the past, so there could be some kind of involvement between Capcom and Square, maybe in relation to something with Street Fighter V that's like the story mode or something along those lines. Because Capcom and Square have worked together in 2014 for a Resident Evil card game, so they do have a relationship, and there was even pictures from Ono of him visiting the Square Enix offices late last year. So the relationship is there. The 2013 date is extremely confusing, and what's even more confusing is all this associated with what's going on in the background of this spooky kind of creepy setting. Now, what's even more kind of curious about the situation is that Ono did talk about this, and he specifically said in regards to this, that this is kind of in broken English. He said the picture had been shown in Western, but it's the first time people spotted and asked him about it. He cannot confirm or reveal anything about it for now. And this is pretty much a kind of alone in the dark. There's no confirmation, there's no deconfirmation. All he's saying is that he can't talk about it. And in situations like this, it usually means that there is something cooking in the background between Square Enix and Capcom, and Ono might not have wanted this information to be out there just yet, and it might have been an accidental leak, but because of it, he doesn't want to say anything in regards to the situation, which kind of leads you to believe that, okay, well, there's something there. So the possibilities I'm thinking here, there's a few, is that potentially it's something Darkstalkers related because that's related to the creepy background. Potentially it's something related to the story mode of Square Enix maybe working on this big epic grandiose story for Street Fighter V. That'd be very cool. Potentially there could be crossover characters from the Square Enix universes, maybe Final Fantasy characters that could make an appearance in a Street Fighter series. And then the final one, and maybe the most likely out of them all, is that it was simply a printing error. But the thing that makes me think it's not a printing error is that why wouldn't Ono just say, yeah, that's not anything, don't worry about it. That was, we made a mistake. Usually that'd be the best thing you can do before you cause, like, a media stir-up, but he literally said, I can't talk about it right now. So, something is indeed happening. But until then, let me hear your feedback on this because, man, Square Enix and Capcom teaming up to make something would be absolutely amazing in relation to a fighting game. And they do, like I said, have the experience from previous games and a good working relationship. They're a couple of, like, the mega Japanese developers, so it's kind of cool to see them working together and that, man, just based off that, maybe even Square Enix versus Capcom could be a possibility in the future. Either way, I think Street Fighter V is the greatest bridge to gap for something like that, regardless of whatever Square Enix's involvement might be. Either way, dudes, thank you a ton for watching. Leave me your feedback below of what you think it is, and I'll be back with more Street Fighter V coverage talking about that footage that was taken at Taipei Game Show very soon. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.